Help from Dr. Lee Si-hyung.
한번 Following this, let me now invite the second speaker. So the first presentation was for the time for healing. Now the second presentation, I think, will be about the presidential elections in the United States and also how will affect the economy and how businesses can survive and thrive at this time of crisis. What kind of changes are happening in this international order and how our lifestyle should be changed. So we would like to hear about the changes in international order brought by COVID-19, and the lecture will be delivered by President Jeffrey Jones.
네, 감사합니다. 마스크 벗어도 되죠?
Can I take off my mask? Thank you very much for your kind introduction. So we have many audiences here today, but maybe virtually we have even more audiences. Dr. Lee said that a lot of young people are joining us today, and that made me feel very happy. So I'd like to thank the organizer for giving me this opportunity to come to Busan and join this conference. I'd like to thank the president of the Busan Port Authority and also all those who have worked hard to put together this conference. And here you can see we can see many audiences joining us today.
제가
I'm not an expert in COVID-19, but for about a year, we have experienced this infectious disease. And now I think everyone becomes an expert in COVID-19. We learned a lot, we felt a lot, and also we have built significant amount of knowledge for COVID-19. We now know how the viruses are transmitted. In the US, I think they are still in the process of studying. They are not really deeply aware of the importance of wearing mask, not as much as Koreans do. Maybe Korean people are very smart, or they have great brain, or they are very submissive. I don't know. And they follow the leaders. I don't know why, but somehow the Korean people, they wear facial mask a lot and very faithfully, and that helps the virus control and containment. So I'd like to congratulate you. The world had changed. About a year ago at this stage, I talked about the international trade relations, political relations, and also the US, China, Korea, Japan relationship, how these international relationship will evolve. But now in retrospect, you see all the things that I talked about were not that valid. So the title of my presentation is The Great Reset, not the Great Depression. It's not just a simple change. I think now we are at the time of great reset. So the world is temporarily closed, as the banner says here. A lot of people, I think, will agree that Rather than having temporary shutdown, in fact, the COVID-19 forced us to have a new lifestyle and have a new mindset and have a new way of competition. That's the reality that we are facing. So regarding that, I would like to give you a few examples of various industries. Here you see the pictures of airports. It really makes us feel sad. So here you see that the airplanes that are on taxiway are ready to take off, but only 2 to 3 passengers are inside. And wherever airports you go, you see that there are always planes that are idle. And on the left bottom, you can see the JFK airport in the United States. Can you believe it? It was crowded by so many people, but now you see how vacant it is. And so actually, I think we are experiencing a sort of once in a lifetime phenomenon. The airliners go bankrupt. The hotel industry is suffering a lot. Here you can see the occupancy rate and it declined significantly. So hotels are suffering. And also the COVID-19 dealt a severe blow to the automaker industry as well. So, but while all the automotive makers are suffering, Hyundai Motor is the only exception that thrives today. And I think it's all thanks to the Korean people. But if you look at GM, Ford, Chrysler, you see, they're all struggling. So a lot of cars are on parking lots and not traded at all. And here you can see the restaurant sales. And the red bar does not indicate the growth in revenue, rather it shows the decline in revenue. So here you see that a lot of restaurants answered that they experienced more than 96% of the revenue drop in the last 2 weeks of March. But on the right-hand side, you can see a complete different picture that the revenue is increasing for grocery delivery applications, and daily downloads are increasing. And here you see a new school that's emerging. A lot of the American students, they don't go to schools. They are having online classes. The universities gradually are making shift to the hybrid lectures, but the middle school, junior school, junior high, and also the elementary schools, they are all having classes online. So the children and students, you see, they don't have any chance for socialization, no chance for proper learning. Now, after 10 years or 20 years down the road, how will they grow? And what kind of adults will they become? That makes us feel very scared. So, in order to have a proper education, even on online platform, I think we really have to study hard and learn a lot. But at this time of crisis, still there are many winners, companies that continue to thrive. So these are household names like Amazon. Amazon, has having a great service for delivery, and the Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, he became the richest man in the world last year and this year again. So Amazon is growing rapidly, and also the Costco. Costco runs the storage type grocery stores, and they do have stores in Korea and also in many other countries. And because of the COVID-19, people do not go out, and also a lot of people cook food at home, and that increased the sales of the Costco. What about Coupang? That every Korean knows. You see that whenever there are gatherings of mothers, oftentimes the Korean moms say that without Coupang, they cannot survive, they cannot live. And I think that's not an exaggeration. If you agree, then why don't you raise your hand? You see, without Coupang, you cannot live your daily life. That's also very scary, but because it shows a very excessive dependence on the contactless interaction that became so prevalent in our societies due to COVID-19. You see that somehow our lives are confined to the small cell phones. Anyway, Coupang is thriving, and also Tencent, a Chinese company, they are also doing great business. They do have businesses in e-commerce and also the finance, and all the financial transactions are happening with the mobile phone. Samsung, you shouldn't miss that. Samsung is also being benefited a lot by the COVID-19. The sales of the handsets, tablets are increasing at a rapid pace. So here you see that Samsung is actually making a silent smile at this time of crisis. They are enjoying a great sale. So you can see that although the COVID-19 brought a lot of difficulties and sufferings, it also gives the benefits to many companies. Now, what would be the secrets of success? How can we overcome this crisis? I would like to give you the 4 words as secrets for overcoming the crisis. So I talked about the companies that are thriving at the time of COVID pandemic, and in fact, they represent these 4 words that I'm going to explain from now on. So number 1 is convenience. You see, unless your products or services are convenient, your business will be doomed. Not just consumers, but companies. You see, they take great care of convenience. And therefore, the Busan port, in order to thrive in the future, you really have to focus on convenience. Without convenience, people will not visit you. If you bother them, then they will go away. And therefore, you really have to improve convenience. And why the convenience becomes so important at this time of COVID-19 is because I think people, they don't really concentrate. I don't know whether it's because of the mobile phones or the social media, but anyway, you see the people nowadays have a lot of difficulty in concentrating on one thing for a long time, and therefore, unless it's convenient, then they just forget, and they try to do things quickly. The MC is on the stage. Are you giving me the cue that I have to finish as early as possible? No? Okay, then I will continue. Anyway, so whether it's products or services, or what kind of professions you have, whether you are doctors, professors, or lawyers, regardless of that, convenience is the king for all businesses. And next is scale. You have to have the economy of scales. With the small businesses, it's very hard to make success, and therefore scale up is the next important thing for you to thrive. Your competitors are next to you. One of the secrets behind this Coupang's great success, in fact, they have not produced any profit yet. So they have existed for for a few years, but they have never produced the profits. And Amazon, you see, or whether it's Amazon, they earn a lot of money, but for the past 20 years, they never produced profits. They never generated profits. But they're just expanding the size of their businesses and markets. So no dividend, but their share prices are going up all the time. And the same goes for Coupang. So what they do is to first build large scale of businesses, and after that, once they reach certain threshold, they will start generating profits. Now, next is speed. So you have to do things quickly. And I think that it really coincides with the Korean culture because Korean people do have the tendency to get things done quickly. But now everyone in the world is forced to be quick and nimble. And I think that that's one of the biggest changes brought by COVID-19. Speed becomes very important. And you can no longer put off the things. Rather, you have to do whatever you're assigned to do immediately, right now. You have no luxury to delay. The last thing is the technology. So digitalization is very important. If you're not digitalized, if you don't ride on the wave of this digitalization, you will be doomed. Whether it's the HR, the finance, the logistics, you see, every industry experiences digitalization. So there are always chief technology officers in every company nowadays, and also even hospital, library, and schools. Digitalization becomes a very important part of your business, and therefore, chief technology officers will be in every company in the not too distant future. Because only then the companies can have competitive edge. And also, after the COVID-19, our mindset had changed as well. Now, I would like to talk about what kind of mindset we should have to react to this pandemic. First of all, we should have a startup mindset. You know what startup is, right? It's a new business, the emerging business. So whether you were engaged in the business for 20 years or whether you just started your business yesterday, you have to have the startup mindset. Otherwise, you will lose your competitiveness. So what I mean by startup mindset, in the post-COVID world, action is important. So action becomes more important than research. People no longer have the luxury of thinking a lot for a long time. Rather, they are trying to do things quickly because they have to generate income as early as possible. And therefore, rather than having a lot of time conducting research, you have to take actions, immediate actions. Time is the essence, especially for entrepreneurs and business people. I myself am a lawyer, and long time ago, really long time ago. In fact, I was it last year, but uh, but I feel that it's a long time ago. So a long time ago, when I was assigned to do a certain job, the client didn't really give me the deadline to finish the work. But nowadays, they become very different. For example, they assign me the task, and then in the afternoon of the same day, they give me a call and ask whether I finished my job or not. They're pushing me so hard. You know, when I was waiting at the waiting room before the start of this conference, I had to keep using my mobile phone, sending a lot of emails and checking schedules because things are moving so fast, and I have to live up to that. So, speed matters. And then the next thing is very important, but very difficult to be implemented. So that's the motivate your employees to be hungry. Sounds strange, but it means that you have to nurture the strong sense of urgency to among your employees and motivate them to work hard and push their limits because the world is changing at a rapid speed. And therefore, if your employees do not move fast, and if they are not nimble, then you will lose competitiveness. And therefore, motivating them to work hard and to be hungry is very important. And then the last but not least, the agile organizations. Korean people, we actually have very strong hierarchy in our society. And Korean people, they always respect people who are above them. So the Korean companies, they have very rigid organization structures with a lot of hierarchy. I think that the PPA is not an exception. In fact, we have to admit that every company in Korea does have that hierarchy and rigid organization structure. But we have to move away from that. So agile organization means a very flexible organization. In other words, the assistant manager, director, or managers, they are all participating in the same decision-making process and also sharing responsibilities to get the company moving, the business moving. And this is pretty different from the Korean culture. But in Korea, we have like seniors and juniors, and we all believe that the juniors always have to respect seniors, but that will be detrimental to us for the future. Of course, if you follow that social rule, then you can pass your responsibilities, and you don't have to bear responsibilities, and also you can avoid a lot of mistakes. So you may think that that's a safe choice, but that will really hinder your development. And therefore, the reshaping organization structure is very important for Korean businesses to grow. My time is up, so I will spend 2 more minutes. Accelerate revenue opportunities. So we have to generate a lot of opportunities to create income. But we shouldn't spend too much time only thinking and conducting researches because we are running out of time. So take action immediately. So we have to accelerate opportunities to generate revenue. Once you have the idea, just to put them into practice. Even if you make mistake, that's okay. You don't have to think too hard. That will be very important in the post-COVID world. So acceleration of revenue opportunities. And also the lightning speed of digitalization. That's another secret of success. So digitalization has to be penetrated into every business, every industry. Delivery services. Yes, Korea does have very advanced delivery service. Coupang Eats has not been introduced yet in Busan, but in Seoul, we have a lot of excellent delivery applications and services, including the Coupang Eats and the 배달의 민족, which was the #1 delivery application in Korea, but now the Coupang Eats overtook that, and it's because the Coupang Eats is faster than 배달의 민족. So we now have more users using Coupang Eats than 배달의 민족. And you can also see and track down on the motorbike movement and when will they arrive at your home and when you will get your products being delivered. So a lot of moms, they are sort of enjoying using the application and tracking the route of the delivery person. And also Coupang Eats has wider coverage than 배달의 민족. So this shows that the Coupang is a great company. They are very nimble and they are very fast in spreading and adopting digitalization. So COVID-19 actually recreate the world to be more speedy. I am now quite old now, so I thought that it would be great if I could take some time and enjoy my life, but the COVID-19 does not allow me to do so. So with that, thank you very much. Why don't you give the chairman another round of applause?